All right, so as I was saying before, if we just calculate the areas, it speeds up the process significantly. The catch here is when it goes below the x-axis. All right, you still calculate area, 2 times -1, but it's -2 for that one, for an area. So if you're using negative numbers, you have to include them. So here we have 4 times -2, we have -8. Okay, so how does that work when it translates to the other side here? Well, we already know 2 seconds, you would add 4. So I went over 2, and I added 4 to get me to the first one. All right, so there is section number 1. For the next 2 seconds, I have to add 2 more. So I go over 2 seconds, and we're going to have to go off the page. Not a big deal. Okay, there's the second segment. So I added 2 more. All right, so I went up 2 more. So here's my +4, here's my +2. So now when I get to the negatives, over the next 2 seconds, I'm going to subtract 2. So 1, 2, and next 2 seconds. So I subtracted 2. All right, so there's -2. And then the next 4 seconds, I've got to take away 8. So I'm going to take away the 8 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. And there is the fourth segment, the -8. And there is your position time graph. Okay? You're just calculating area and adding and subtracting them on your position time graph. So if it's a positive on this side, if it's a +4 or a +2, you are adding them. So I went up to 4, added 2, and now I'm up at 6. Okay? Then we subtracted 2, which means that we go from 6 down 1, 2 to 4. So I subtracted 2 in there. Okay? So all we're doing is we're adding and subtracting areas. So let's try another one. Anytime you see that off the x-axis a little bit, it's meant to be on it. It's just as close as I can get with the software. So first thing I would do, I'm going to change colors, but I'm going to calculate all the negative areas. Okay? So here's my box, negative area, 2 times -2, that's a -4. Negative area, 2 seconds long times -3, so that gives me -6. Positive area, 1, 2, 3 long, 1, 2, 3 high, so that's a +9. Now this one on the x-axis, it goes 1, 2, 3 seconds, but the height's 0, so this is a 0, +0. Okay? So when I go to translate, first thing we do, I'm going to take away 4 over the first 2 seconds. So I'm going to start at 0, 0. You can really start anywhere you want with these graphs, but starting at 0, 0 is better. Makes it easier. Down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went over 2 seconds. So there's segment 1. Okay. Now for the next 3 seconds, I'm not going to add anything. So I'm just going to go across like that. All right. Next, I'm going to add 9. So I'll add that first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that goes till the 8. So that's the next segment. So our line will go like that. And finally, I need to subtract 6. So I'll go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that ends at the 10. There we go. So I would have to, in order to create this velocity time graph, this is how I would have to move. So this would be the position time graph. So you would have to move backwards at a constant rate, stand still, move forward at a constant rate, move backward at a constant rate to get these corresponding velocities over here. All right, so we're just constructing the position time graph given the velocity time graph. So the summary, 1, calculate positive and negative areas. Negative areas using the VT graph. Next, you would add, subtract areas from the VT graph to, I guess, the value of your position. Of your position. So again, if I was to make that chart again, PT, VT, and I'll throw the third one in here, AT. Earlier, I said if we want to go from position time to velocity time, we find the slope. If we want to go VT to PT, you have to find area. Okay? So it allows you the ability to move back and forth between the two. So today's homework is simply just that. You're moving from one type of graph to the other type of graph, respectively. So you're practicing taking slope, creating a VT graph, and then you're going to get VT graphs. You're going to calculate position time from those given VT graphs. All right. If you have any questions, you need any clarification with this, please let me know, and I will give you a hand and get it straightened up.